Hi, I am Dr. Arsalan and today we are going to discuss the urea cycle. It's also called ornithine cycle because of its first substrate, the L-ornithine. This is the basic and most important vital metabolic pathway of the body carried out in the liver to filter out all the nitrogenous waste produced in the body during degradation or metabolism of proteins or nucleic acids, so that the body may get rid of these harmful and toxic waste substances, and these are excreted out of the body in the form of urine. Urea cycle was first discovered by Hans Krebs Kurt Henslett. It was the very first metabolic pathway or metabolic cycle to be discovered. It may be defined as the set of biochemical reactions which produce urea from the ammonia. As you can see in the diagram that there are various chemical reactions or substitution reactions which are undergoing the metabolic pathway. It's the set of biochemical reactions which are explained in this diagram which produce urea from the ammonia. Basically, the ammonia is converted into urea through this urea cycle or ornithine cycle. As we know that the proteins comprises amino acids, and the chemical formula of amino acid is there is alpha carbon to which alkyl group and hydrogen are attached. To one end is carboxyl group and to other is amino group. This organic part of the amino acid, it enters the Krebs cycle for further metabolism and release of energy, while this inorganic amino group, it is converted into ammonia. This ammonia is highly toxic and harmful to the body, so it should be excreted from the body. But there is drawback in the excretion of ammonia, that it requires huge amount of water to be excreted. It can be afforded by the aquatic animals having abundant supply of water, but in case of animals which are living on the land like human beings or other animals which are terrestrial, they cannot afford such huge amount of water for the excretion of this ammonia. Terrestrial animals convert this ammonia into urea through urea cycle. This is the basic aim of the urea cycle, to convert this harmful, highly toxic ammonia into the urea for excretion of the body at the expense of reasonable amount of water in the form of urine. Now the question arises that where do this urea cycle is conducted or carried out in the body? So the site of these metabolic reactions of urea cycle is the liver. So liver is the primary site of formation of urea. Most often the students get confused that urea is formed in the kidneys, but this is incorrect. Urea is formed in the liver. All the metabolic reactions which convert this ammonia into urea are carried out, accomplished in the liver. So basically the site of reactions or formation of urea is the liver. However, it is excreted through kidneys. You shouldn't be confused that the formation of urea occurs in the liver and excretion of the urea occurs in the kidneys in the form of urine. Now we will explain the mechanism of urea formation or the processes and the steps of this metabolic pathway. So the mechanism of reaction or steps of metabolic pathway of urea cycle. Urea cycle comprises 5 steps, out of which 2 steps occur in mitochondria and 3 steps occur in the cytosol of the cell. So the first step and the second step, these two occur in the mitochondria of the cell. Primarily the ammonia which is produced in the degradation or metabolism utilizes 2 ATPs and bicarbonate ion, and it is converted into carbamyl phosphate. So this is the first step in which carbamyl phosphate is formed. In the very second step, this carbamyl phosphate combines with the L-ornithine amino acid in the presence of ornithine carbamyl transferase enzyme and forms citrulline. So this is the second step of formation of citrulline. So the first step, carbamyl formation. Second step, citrulline formation. In these reactions, one good thing is that all of the enzymes, these are based upon the substrates or products of these reactions. For example, the carbamyl phosphate synthase enzyme is involved in the synthesis of carbamyl phosphate. The ornithine carbamyl transferase enzyme convert the ornithine and carbamyl phosphate into citrulline. Then arginosuccinate synthase enzyme produce arginosuccinate. Arginosuccinate lysase enzyme convert this arginosuccinate into arginine, and arginase enzyme break down this arginine into the urea and ornithine. So all of these enzymes taking place in these reactions are named upon their substrates and products. I am going to repeat these reactions. The ammonia formed from the degradation or metabolism of the amino acids and proteins utilizes 2 ATPs in the presence of bicarbonate and enzyme carbamyl phosphate synthase produce carbamyl phosphate. The second reaction is that carbamyl phosphate reacts with the L-ornithine and produce citrulline in the presence of ornithine carbamyl transferase enzyme. These 2 steps occur in the mitochondria. Then citrulline again absorbs an ATP and converted into arginosuccinate in the presence of enzyme arginosuccinate synthase. The aspartate amino acid is converted into fumarate in this reaction as well. Then this arginosuccinate, in the presence of arginosuccinate lysase enzyme, is broken down into arginine. Then the arginine combined with the water in the presence of arginase enzyme and is broken down into urea and L-ornithine. The urea is transported by the blood from the liver to the kidney for excretion in the form of urine, while this L-ornithine is recycled. Therefore, this is called urea cycle, because we have started from the ornithine and ended on the ornithine. This ornithine is again and again recycled. So these are the 5 reactions of the urea cycle, in which first reaction the carbamyl phosphate was synthesized, in the second reaction citrulline was synthesized, in third step arginosuccinate, at the fourth step arginine, and at the fifth and last step the urea as well as ornithine was synthesized. This urea is then transported by the blood into the kidneys to be excreted in the form of urine. This way the urea cycle is completed. So the site of all these reactions is the liver. This was all about the urea cycle. So this is the basic and most important vital metabolic pathway of the body, carried out in the liver to filter out all the nitrogenous waste produced in the body during degradation or metabolism of proteins or nucleic acids, so that the body may get rid of these harmful and toxic waste substances, and these are excreted out of the body in the form of urine. Hope this video will help you a lot in learning the urea cycle. Thank you.